Very good evening to one and all present here. At the outset, it gives me immense happiness in being part of this national webinar, New Educational Policy, Gateway to New Horizon. And amidst us, we have our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Bharatiyar University, Professor P. Kaliraj. I'm overwhelmed because I met him with regards to certain things about my subject French, but with no hesitations, despite his busy schedule, he consented saying that he is happy to address young minds about a contemporary concern. So hearty welcome to our Honorable Vice Chancellor. At this juncture, I would like to mention two people. Reverend Sister Sheila, the principal who has been motivating both the NCC cadets and the college students towards any new endeavors. I would also like to thank my commanding officer, 5 Tamil Nadu Girls Battalion, who has been instrumental in helping us to do anything new, innovative. And it was this suggestion from NCC that we should organize something online for the students of a topic of contemporary concern, which is new educational policy. With this, I hand over the session to our Honorable Vice Chancellor of Bharatiyar University, Professor Kaliraj, beloved Professor Kaliraj. Over to you, sir.
மேம் அந்த ஸ்கிரீன் ஷேர் பண்ணனும், ஹோஸ்ட் அட்மிட் பண்ண சொல்லுங்க மேம். சிந்தியா மேம்.
எஸ் சார்.
ஹோஸ்ட வந்து ஸ்கிரீன் ஷேர் பண்ணனும், ஹோஸ்ட வந்து ஒரு நிமிஷம் அட்மிட் பண்ண சொல்லுங்க. எங்களை வந்து ஸ்கிரீன் ஷேர் பண்றதுக்கு அட்மிட் பண்ண சொல்லுங்க.
பண்ணிட்டேன் சார்.
Respected principal and administrative authorities of Providence College for Women, Kunnur, and NCC wing of the college, and the organizer, Dr. Sindhya. I'm extremely happy to be with you for the national webinar on new education policy, a gateway to New Horizon. When you talk about any policy, the policy is being made by government for running the program. For running a government, policies are needed. The next one is implementing the policy. Now, this National Education Policy, NEP, it is an evolution of a large number of policy made by various authorities of government during various regime of the political party, the University Education Commission with policy which has been prepared in 1948-49, and 42nd Constitutional Amendment in 1976. After that, over a period of about 30-35 years, several policies have come. And the major policy which was tried to implement was National Policy on Education, NPE, in 1996. Then it was modified in 1992 by the Program of Action. Then there was a report of TSR Subramaniam Committee in May 2016. And Dr. K. Kasturirangan Committee report on 31st May 2019. And finally, it has been implemented or adopted by the central government for the making it to common for all the people. Now, what is the consultation process of this national education policy? A large number of experts from public, industry, and academic institutions, they joined together and they prepared the policy looking into the view of the future of the students and the job opportunities for the students and in the future. Now, if you just look into the vision of National Education Policy 2020, the main pillars are the education should be accessible to all levels of people, all quarter of people, all religious, then equity, then quality of education has to be good, then affordability and accountability to the academic institutions. So the main purpose of the education is to develop good human being capable of rational thought and action, and ultimately it is aims at producing engaged, productive and contributing citizens. And here, so it is mainly for transforming India into a global knowledge superpower. So when you think about it, why there is a need for introducing this policy with various changes? Now, the outcome pillars of national education policy is, number one, quality teaching. It should be of the learning process, and not only learning, the things are getting changed every now and then. If you just look into the computer field, or even, for example, very simple example, your mobile phone is getting changed. In a year, there will be about 3 to 4 models from the same brand is coming. So that means a continuous improvement in the update of various things. That means the learning alone is not sufficient. Relearning is very important. National education policy is giving way for that. And it gives the way for lifelong learning. The next important thing is flexibility. And today we have the rigid system. When you complete one subject or course from one university, and you have to be accommodated only in that particular university for that particular program and for that particular curriculum which has been developed for that particular year of developing the curriculum. Now this is going to have the flexibility, and the flexibility is going to be wherever you do the education, it will be possible to accumulate your credit and you can transfer to any universities. Even before introducing the new education policy, our Honorable Chancellor, Governor of Tamil Nadu, he organized a meeting in Ooty, Rajbhavan, to look for converting the universities into world-class universities by way of preparing the roadmap for all the universities in Tamil Nadu. How you are going to perform in 23, 26 and 30. And during the course of time, what are the changes you are going to face? What are the challenges you are going to have in terms of improvement as well as the innovation in the technology? Based on the technology, the type of job that you are going to have is going to be modified. That means the type of job that you are having it now, it will not be there after 3 years. That means there will be technological development, and you need a different kind of manpower with different kind of capabilities. That means you have to go for the holistic approach, and also you have to go for multidisciplinary approach to overcome the problem. A student should be in a position to take job in more than one discipline. That should be the main goal of your national education policy, by way of providing the opportunity to students to take any kind of the additional courses, additional subject in any one of those things. Then the policy is also talking about creators of knowledge. The creators of knowledge, the knowledge-based economy is the one which is going to be sustained in future. So we have to go for improving the creativity of the students, both at school level as well as at the college level. Then, more than the job seekers, we have to convert our students into job providers and job promoters. That should be one of the aim of that. Then if you just look into our higher education, we look into the various aspects. Wait for 1 minute. There is some technology problem.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, we can't get your voice, sir.
Not getting the voice? Well,
So now we are able to see and hear you, sir. Yes, sir.
because I was not talking, that's why you
Yes,
didn't
yes.
hear
They didn't know that, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, in higher education, I didn't want to touch about the school education. Number one,
Principal.
quality university. The quality university and colleges have to be established. For that, you have to go for institutional restructuring and consolidation, and holistic education, then optimal learning environment and support for students, motivation, energized and capable faculty, and equity and inclusion in higher education. For that, the teacher education has to be emphasized with the greater output. Then we have to incorporate vocational education with all our curricular system. Then the professional education has to be improved, and we have to go for promoting high quality research. I think something happening. Cynthia?
Sir, it is from your side, sir. It is from your side. We are not doing anything. The lines on the screen is from your side. We are not doing anything.
Let me work on that. Okay, let us hope it will go on well. Okay. Now, the new education policy, it emphasizes about large multidisciplinary universities. Now the question is, when we are going to have large multidisciplinary university which will be having arts and science, medicine, then your law and so on. Medicine and law has been eliminated from this new education policy, but other things have been included. It will be including arts and science, and we can go for the para-engineering, and paramedical education can be incorporated. So more multidisciplinary undergraduate education faculty and institutional autonomy has to be given. Then the higher education institution has to be improved by highly qualified independent boards. The next question is, the new education policy, they promote this UG program with the first year certificate, second year. If they complete it in first year, you go give the certificate to them. If they are discontinuing in second year, give the diploma. And if they are completing, go for PG diploma or degree with the 3 to 4 years. And this is not the new system that we were already having it also earlier. But why, you can also question the certificate, why there is a need for certificate. There are some students, due to some reason, either by way of, can you, he's making some other computer for that. So we can always go for, if somebody is not able to continue the studies, they can go out with one certificate. Take for example, the female student, the girl is getting married, and they have to go to some other place, and they are not able to continue the study in the same place, let them take the certificate along with credit. When they go to settle in some other place, they can continue the studies. And it is not going to happen for all the students. It is not necessary all the students have to discontinue in the first year, second year like that. And only thing is, the UG program has to be designed in such a way that you give the opportunity for some of the students who will not be the dropout just because of the marriage or taking some employment or some other personal reason. Then the PG program also, either 1 year or 2 years. 1 year PG program is very popular in Western countries. You can design in such a way. If you are completing the 4-year UG program, you can go for 1 year PG program, and 5-year integrated program we are already having. So it all depends on how you are going for credit transfer and also establishing the academic bank of credits. So the model multidisciplinary education and research university is likely to be established over a period of time, and it is planned for each district one. Now the question is, what are the practical feasibilities? Even to start with, if you are having one in a particular quarter of the state, that should be all right. About 4 multidisciplinary education and research universities there, that should be all right. And the question is, what is the ultimate aim of the new education policy? The new education policy ultimate aim is to improve the GER of the people, the GER of the people or the GER of the state to 50%. But in Tamil Nadu, we are already having the GER of 50. So what should be the ambition and our goal for the government of Tamil Nadu or the people of Tamil Nadu? The question is, are they going to take Tamil Nadu as a model? Because now over a period of time we have improved and we've got a lot of structure in terms of reservation policy, giving education to the underprivileged and the people who are coming from the villages. All those policies are there. So these policies have not been speculated in the new education policy, and this the policy has to be implemented after confirming all these points. The next one is internationalization of education. With the development of online education, it is possible for the higher education institutions to go for the internationalization of education. In Bharatiya University, we have already established link with few universities, one with the Canadian Institute, another is with Melbourne University. We can go for blended program of dual degree in undergraduate or postgraduate or PhD. This will be passed on to the affiliated institutions also. The students from the affiliated institutions also, they are eligible for that. This might not be introduced immediately. It might take a year for giving it to the affiliated institutions. As I told you, the ultimate gross enrollment ratio for higher education is to be 50%. Already we are having 50%. We have to think for anything between 65 to 75% for people in Tamil Nadu or neighboring states. Then we have to go for the more holistic education. Then academic bank of credit is very important. And as I already told, that in Bharatiya University, you are having the liberty to take any course from any one of the affiliated colleges of Bharatiya University, and we are permitting from this year to transfer the credit. Very soon, within 6 months, we are going to have the MOU of all the universities in Tamil Nadu, and according to that, you can take a course from any one of the university and the credit will be taken to the Bharatiya University. And ultimately, over a period of time, within 3 to 4 years, you'll be going for the real academic bank of credits. When you are taking the credit from any part of the country, from any universities or from any part of the world, and the university will be ready to accommodate the credit and the degree will be awarded. Okay, no problem. I think there is some problem in the technology. So
that is okay, sir. What you are telling us is really clear, sir. Nothing to worry. Even though the slides have some disturbances, It is clearly delivered to us, sir.
Okay, then our next one is the choice-based credit system is very important. We already introduced in our Bardea University. Even before introducing the education policy clearly says a student should get job-oriented certificate courses. Suppose a student is having the problem and not getting the job because of one particular discipline, and if he is having some job-oriented certificate courses, he will be having any one of the avenues in the industries. So for all the UG and PG program of the affiliated colleges and the university department, we introduced vocational programs and job-oriented certificate courses and add-on courses, which is just introduced from this academic year. And this is part of the new education policy. We already introduced in Bardea University. Bardea University, the first university, introduced most of these avenues. And there are some key factors of national education policy regarding the faculty and institutional leadership position and internationalization. And here we are encouraging the affiliated colleges also to go for linked with any one of the world university where their university ranking is less than 500, and you can go for blended program, and the university will be happy to support such kind of program, and the degree will be jointly awarded by Bardea University and the foreign university. And it will be quite possible. It will be possible only when we have a MOU between tripod, this one MOU between your affiliated institution, Bardea University, and the foreign university. You got Acha? Can you just put it off? You have an idea. So I would like to inform you that Bardea University, it has been consistently ranked 13 to 14 in the university category and 21 category by the NIRF. And in the world university ranking, I'm very happy to tell you that it is 818. We crossed the barrier of 1000. And among Indians, it is 19. And the world university ranking, it is 818. One important point that I would like to tell for adopting part of new education policy. So here, the Industries 4 has been incorporated for all the subjects. There are certain components like Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, augmented reality, cloud, cyber security, big data, mobile. And here we introduce this particular component in all the subjects of UG and PG program. Like for example, big data and data analysis has been introduced in our BCom and MCom commerce, social science, management, social work, economics, applied maths, women studies, bioinformatics, and so on. The Internet of Things has been incorporated in many fields. Augmented reality has been incorporated in many fields. Artificial intelligence has been incorporated in all departments, and robotic process also introduced in all departments. That means we have to go for modernizing our curriculum and syllabus to suit the current need. Because the type of students that we are going to produce in 2023, they will be in a position to meet the challenges and the type of job which is going to be related to Industries 4 component. Now the Industries 5 also come, like creativity and all. That will be also introduced in due course of time. So we have also written few textbooks. And ultimately, I would like to say, in a nutshell, new education policy is a policy. It all depends on how we are going to implement. What are the components in implementing the policy? The state government. When you come to the state government, the policy is not telling about how we are going to accommodate the villagers, then the underprivileged people, physically challenged people, and people with various reservations. These policies have to be worked out by the state government and central government, and language policy, whether it is a 2-language policy or 3-language policy. All these things are, the discussion is going on between the state government and central government. And the policy says it is up to 2035. But according to me, you need not have to wait up to 2035. You have to start from day one. But whatever the things you can incorporate to the curriculum and syllabus of any universities. So accordingly, we revamped the entire curriculum, and it has been uploaded yesterday for both UG and PG program. And you can ask the question about the Industries 4 component, like big data analytics, Internet of things. We have given it as an optional subject or electives for the affiliated colleges. Those who are interested, they can have. Those institutes, they have the facility, they can have. Those who are not having the facility, those who are not having the capability of introducing this subject, the university will be more than happy to teach your students by online mode, and without any expectation from the students or from the institute, for the large interest of the institute as well as from the students. So thank you very much for giving the opportunity, and I'm very happy that National Cadet Corps team of Providence College for Women is proactive and making this program, exposed to many of the students who are having the doubt about what is the new education policy. Yes, it is a policy. It is given by the government. Any government, they have to give the policy. The policy has been given. It all depends on we to implement the policy, how we are going to have. And people are telling, now onwards, the college itself will give the degree. When the college is going to issue the degree, whether the students are going to accept it, whether you are confident to go for giving your own degree, or you are going for the cluster colleges. And even if you are going for the cluster colleges, who is going to give the funds for research? Research is very important for any teaching activities. Teaching is one side. Unless you have the research component, it is not possible. Where from we are going to get the funds? Whether the government is going to give, or the state government, the central government is going to give, or we are going to go for the public-private partnership. So many questions are there. So we have to contribute from our side how best possible way we will be able to work with government to implement this policy. Policy is very nice policy, but the implementing strategy has to be worked out. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. It was indeed an excellent presentation. In a nutshell, you have told us much about the credit banks and how we can opt for credits in a national level and in an international level. We have admitted only restricted number of participants who are volunteering to get the nutshell of the actual national education policy. The same would be uploaded in YouTube and transferred to the entire student community. And now I call upon Dr. Anubhuti, NCC in charge of our college, to officially propose the vote of thanks. Okay. So at the outset, I think there is a technical issue in ma'am's side. It's okay. At the outset, first and foremost, I would like to thank God who brought this thought into our minds and made this program turn out into a success. A heartfelt tons and tons of thanks to our beloved Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Kaliraj. He's not been like other people who try to postpone things, or who has been telling that not this time, maybe sometime later. He was instantaneous in giving his approval, and it was all online because now we are in this pandemic, and I'm very happy for having had such a resource person of such esteemed caliber to address young minds. Now, students, I also would like to thank our principal, Reverend Sister Sheila, who has been instrumental in helping us to do anything new and innovative, despite the fact that NCC was only 2 years old in our college. She has motivated us, and this is the 6th webinar that we are conducting, and this is the best webinar that I have ever organized, convened. And the next thing we would like to say, I extend my thanks to Colonel Satish, Commanding Officer of 5 Tamil Nadu Girls Battalion, who has been extremely instrumental. It was he who came up with this contemporary issue, saying that DG NCC from Delhi has requested each unit to enlighten students with what actually is new education policy. And thanks for allowing our college to be part of this NEP organizing for the NCC cadets across India. So thank you one and all. And I assure the students this recording would be sent to you by YouTube. And in that YouTube link, you will also see the results of the competitions that we conducted with regards to NEP. Again, thank you so much, sir. To you, I don't know, no words. Thank you so much, sir. And with this, we can end the meeting. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.